Hi, my name is Eric Farah, brother of Nicholas Farah, who was killed by Las Vegas Metro Police on March 31st, 2019. He was arrested and brought into uh, the detention center and put into a restraint chair where they forced his head between his legs for an unreasonable amount of time, a couple minutes, and he essentially suffocated and lost his breath and was ruled a homicide um, by the coroner's office, and essentially it was positional asphyxia. Very similar to all the other choking cases where police officers have taken the last breath away from innocent civilians and people who weren't doing any harm and doing causing a problem to society. So they were just taking innocent lives and unfortunately um, uh, killing people in a unjustice matter. So um, he was brought in, and paramedics didn't come for a little while later. There was little medical help. There was four officers standing around, all holding him down. And again, this is just such a tragedy where, again, he was just, being brought in, and, hey, the police officer has taken his last breath away from him. So they arrested him under a trespassing charge. So again, such a very minor charge. And he was actually um, just assaulted actually just before that. So some of his belongings were taken from him, and he was assaulted. He actually called the police himself from a hotel, and from there, he was trying to gather himself, and that's where the hotel had asked him to leave, and he was trying to gather his thoughts, his composure, and really just wanted to kind of leave, but he didn't have a way to go anywhere. He was actually trying to get back to the airport, and that's where it kind of went wrong. Is when police came, they kind of started taking force and taking action in a negative way, and essentially so minor where he was trying to get help and just got assaulted, and maybe wasn't in the right state of mind because of that. Metro kind of took severe action against that, where it really took something that was like such so minor as a small trespassing charge to now being restrained in a restraint chair and taking his last breath. My brother Nicholas had two loving children. They were both girls, and not only that, he was a very loving father, brother, obviously son. Our whole family has been impacted. Our extended family, his friends and family, have just really have felt the whole cause, and it's just his daughters will live without a father now because of this tragedy. Our whole family will live without him, and we're just trying to remember what a loving, peaceful guy he was. So I think that's just the tragedy of all this and all the other deaths that are being taken by Metro is that these are loving people who contribute to society and do bring a added value, and had no reason to ever be killed. So, for these, for myself and all the rest of our family to be struggling to get answers, from now until whenever, it's very frustrating to pretty much never get closure. I think one of the biggest things is the chokeholds is something that should really get banned. So many people, like my brother, are dying from positional asphyxia. There's just no reason for it. You're taking a senseless action that's being jammed and forcefully shoved down someone's throat and taken their life. So there's other ways and means to respectfully and peacefully arrest people, and taking their life and taking their last breath by choking them in some manner is just absolutely wrong. And I think that's really the biggest thing here that everyone should consider is why should these police officers who are protecting, who should be protecting people, taking people's last life by choking them and taking, um, their breath away. It's just so wrong. One thing that needs to be required is the police data collection. This is just super informational because this information needs to be gathered in a central location, so that way everything is known about what's happening. There's an analysis about what can be done, and we can kind of analyze and see what's being done in the field, and in any kind of police stops. So not only with that, with anywhere, there should be visibility and transparency, so there is no judgment or stereotypes happening.